Hello and welcome back to Anti-Depressing. This is the show where we talk about everything from liturgy
to Lexapro. So happy to be with y'all. Also, I learned how to turn those reactions off on my computer.
Oh, are they off now?
No more balloons, no more thumbs up.
You're done.
But so thank you to Will, our dear friend, for telling me that we weren't going crazy. So
yeah, that was such a weird thing.
That was so
happening.
weird.
I'm just gonna clean my screen really quick.
Oh yeah, go
nice
ahead.
And professional.
Wow, it's like we're inside of her computer. But yes,
nice, right?
We're so happy to be with y'all. Another week, another episode. It's almost crazy that we're 35 episodes in, which is so crazy. Remember when years ago people would be like, you guys should have a podcast together. And we were like, I know. We're just fun to talk. We're just we like talking to each other. And now here we are.
And now look at us, 35 episodes. Oh my gosh.
35 episodes. Here we are.
It's a lot.
Wow. Well, Jasmine, how the heck are you?
A lot of us talking. Mm-hmm. I'm doing great. I'm honestly so excited to get into it today.
Love it.
We're talking about some artists I love.
Love it.
Some glow ups. I'm just excited. So
love it.
How are you before you share with me some anti-depressing news?
I'm really good. Doing great. Just doing some hobbies, trying my best to trying my best to just keep it cool. That's just who I am. I'm cool. So
cool, chill, calm,
trying
collected.
to keep it chill. And I'm just, I am really excited about today's anti-depressing Catholic news.
Yes.
You ready for it?
I'm so ready.
Vibes. So today's anti-depressing Catholic news, reporting from Catholic News Agency, there are twin sisters of life, twin sisters. So they're twins and they're sisters of life that
double
are sharing
meaning
their
sisters.
Yeah, right. That are sharing their vocation stories prior to Life Fest. So these twin sisters are Sister Pia Jude and Sister Luca Benedict. They both discerned with the Sisters of Life, and they just share their story of discernment and and just encouraging people to if religious life is something that is piqued your interest, to give it a go and let God work in your heart, and and God is like miraculous, so to just see what he can do. And so one beautiful quote from their interview is, to know that my twin sister knows and understands what is so essential to my own heart and to the heart of each sister of life is really one of the greatest gifts God can give a family. So how beautiful is that both of them, that both of them are sisters in so many ways now. So
I know.
So beautiful.
They should a reboot Sister, but it's about this.
Oh my gosh.
Because they're like double sisters.
Okay, that's okay.
Wow. I know, Catholic sister.
That's pretty revolutionary.
I
really like that idea. So that is our anti-depressing.
I love that.
Catholic
Congrats
news.
to those parents. You raised beautiful children.
You honestly did it, you guys. You did it. So that's how I want to go out with all my kids just being religious or clergy, or just having really cool grandkids. I
know a lot of people are like, no, I only want grandkids, and they get pretty sad about sometimes when they're even I have friends that have young kids and are like, oh, if he becomes a priest, I'll be so sad to not be a grandma. And I'm like, oh, but it's so sweet.
But you'll have a little priest.
It's so sweet.
Yeah, you'll have a
priest,
little
have a little sister.
Little
what
sister
a gift.
Daughter. That would be such a gift. And then you would have adopted a whole congregation.
You're
like the
so many
grandchildren.
You're the grandma of the parish. I would lean into that so hard.
So
I'd be making cookies for everybody. You don't
there
even
it
know.
is. Oh my gosh.
Everybody's getting
homemade
cookies.
Biscuits for the whole parish.
Grandma Jazz is showing up. It's getting crazy.
You'd be the grandmother of all of the sisters, and they'd be like, we love your mom.
You would do the same. I could see it
absolutely
big grandma of the whole order.
Yeah, my daughter's a sister. I'd be like, well, you absolutely are all my daughters now. So but that is wonderful. That. God bless them. Discern your vocation. Don't be afraid to ask God what he wants for your life, because it could be something pretty cool. Amazing. So just rolling right in. Do you want to just dance before we start this?
I do want to dance. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm going to turn it down. I'm scared from last week.
Okay.
I love it.
Perfect.
I love it. Are you ready?
Well, yeah, let's just launch right into there's this cool trend that I've been seeing about what kind of movie.
I forgot about this. I'm so excited.
What kind of movie or song best describes you? And so this comes from this social media trend where people are talking about movies and songs that they are convinced that nobody else has listened to or heard. And one of them was like a show. And she said, like, as told by Ginger, she was like, I'm convinced that nobody else has watched that, which that girl needs to like get outside because everybody cool.
She doesn't understand we've all. Yeah, we've all seen that show.
Another one was like Wild Thornberries. And I was like, oh, everyone has seen that show. Another one was Dragon Tales. I mean, those are for the OGs.
Oh,
like
Dragon Tales. Oh my gosh, that was my stuff.
Yeah. And so now people are just talking about like what kind of, what song or movie would best describe you if you were being asked? And so there were just a lot of good answers. A couple girls were like, honestly, I would be Mean Girls because I am Katie from Mean Girls. Like I grew up in the middle of nowhere and I went to a massive public school. Other people are like, honestly, it would probably be Tangled because one girl was like, I have such long hair. It's pretty, so it's just so fun.
I was like, are you trapped?
I know.
Somebody need help?
The comments were like, should we call for help? And she was like,
girl,
no.
good?
I just have like really long hair, which they were like, well, maybe you can choose like anything else. And so yeah. So what kind of movie or song best describes you, Jasmine?
I feel like this is a youth ministry question. Like, you ever been at a youth night and they're like, if you had a walk-in song, what would it be? Like, this is what this feels like. And I don't know. These like stress me out. From like one song to describe.
It's really off the cuff.
All of me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or
I don't know. That's really, or movie. Can I do yours? Because I know yours.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, what movie describes Chenele? Shrek, 100%.
Okay. Thank you for saying that because I really wanted
you embody all the characters at different times of the day.
Yeah, thank you.
And you love it, and it defines your personality. And what song? All Star. Also rooted in Shrek.
Thank you.
Shrek is the beginning and the end of your personality.
Thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that. Okay.
I know that means a lot to you.
It really does because that is like my all time. So thank you for saying that. I would say, okay, not a movie, but a TV show. I would say that you are, it describes your personality, like your kind of vibe, your aesthetic you put off, probably Gilmore Girls.
That's fair.
Just because
cozy,
you have that kind of like cozy, like coffee drinking, bakery going, like walking around
anxiety.
Town,
yeah, that's fair.
Like chill. Yeah. But that's why I said kind of describes your aesthetic. But I could not think of a character that you would match within that show because some of them.
But the vibe, the like cozy fall vibes.
Yeah, I'm gonna get flamed for this, but most of the characters in Gilmore Girls are kind of low key annoying. So I don't think Girls, yeah, girl. I don't think you're like that kind of annoying.
Thank
but
you. That's
you
really
do kind of no problem. But you do give off that aesthetic. And then song wise, when I think of you, I don't know if I can even say this. Yeah,
Please
I don't know.
Make it something appropriate. Were you going to say something weird?
So I was going to say. Okay. No, I'm not going to say that. No. Yeah, no. When I think of you, I think of this Ben Rector song that is our song that we will dance to at my wedding. And It Would Be You, which if the world ended, I would just find you and we would just live out the rest of the world together. And you could bring your kids and your husband. And so I just love it. And it just gives me really like poppy energy, really happy. The lyrics are really good.
Very
and
light, enjoy
that's
your
kind
life.
of your vibe.
Kind of
yeah, like light, enjoy your life. You live in that very space of like, that area of life. Your music isn't depressing. Which is like a good quality you have. You tend to err on the like happier side of life. So yeah,
I try my best. I love that. Yeah, that's definitely our song. That definitely describes us.
Yeah. Like us. It would be you, and obviously like Steven can come and your kids and
yeah.
But ultimately, I'm going to look for you. And then I'm going to be like, let's go into the bunker. Yeah. So,
so true.
So true. So then now that we know that, let's just roll right in to our first story.
So keeping it musical.
Yeah, our first and second story are both about sports, but our first story is
Chenele's entering her sports era, so we're really leaning in, you guys.
I asked to be, formally requested to be a part of the Green Bay Packers fandom. I really like it. It was fun. Your sister described it to me, and it answered all my questions, and so now I'm like kind of invested in it. I know when seasons are. I kind of thought they played all year. I was confused that doesn't happen.
Yeah, you
during the summer.
Schedule.
Yeah, so now I'm like happy. I'm excited to start football season, and
so excited.
And I'm excited for the Super Bowl. I think I'm actually gonna like try to pay attention to the points.
Oh, you're gonna watch more than the halftime show?
Yeah, I'm gonna sit down and try to watch it.
That's really nice.
Yeah, and so our first story is about Eminem being at the Detroit Lions game, which I don't know if the Detroit Lions are a basketball team or a football team.
Okay. They're a football team.
Okay,
and Eminem's been like a fan of them forever. Like he's been a Lions fan forever.
Got it. Fair. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. So he was at, I'm starting. I'm
No,
learning.
She's learning, you guys. And the most important thing is to not shame her because we want her to stay in this realm. We're very proud of her.
Okay. So then he went to a football game and they started playing Lose It, which is Lose Yourself, which is one of Eminem's just gifts to the world.
Just
finest treasures. And so the conversation here is, what if they played Shake It Off? What if Taylor Swift was there and they played Shake It Off? Like,
the craziest thing
what
is
would
like,
the controversy be?
I know. The
Probably
craziest
huge.
thing, like Eminem is just there, enjoying himself, whatever. They play Lose Yourself. Everybody, it was like choruses. Stephen was like, it was as if there was like chant going on in the crowd. Everybody is screaming all of the lyrics to Lose Yourself. And Eminem's just like smiling along, whatever, but nobody was like mad. They were showing him on TV. They were showing him on the Jumbotron. Nobody's mad. And then some people like commenting on social media were like, oh my gosh, just leave it about football, with like laughy faces, kind of making fun of all the people who've been saying that about Taylor Swift, about Simone Biles, about like all these women just trying to support their partners, but really like celebrities being at games has been a big deal for as long as games have existed. Like this has always been shown. This has always been a thing. But it is interesting to see people not outraged about Eminem, and some people are saying like, well, that's because he's been a fan forever. And so like he's kind of allowed. But I think there's like something about like the gatekeeping of a sport. And I've seen a lot of people talk about like baseball, how people got like less and less interested in baseball because some of the fans are like so gatekeepy about it and are like annoyed when people come for just the snacks, which is objectively one of the best parts of a baseball game.
That's it.
But people like, roast them for that or like because they don't understand all the rules and kind of like push them out. And like you don't want that to also happen to football. And like you have said before, the reason you don't like football is because you've been at football parties or elsewhere and asked people like, well, what's happening? What's the rules? And people have been like, oh, don't talk. Like we're watching the game, or, oh, you just don't get it. And kind of like laughed it off and not actually taking the time. And if you didn't grow up learning the rules of a sport, like you actually don't know.
Yeah, I have
and so
no
it's been
idea.
It's been until now that like Juliana has taken the time to like kindly explain football to you without like making you feel silly, that you felt like you could be a fan. And so I think it's like, it's cool. And I've seen so many stories of like dads who were like, oh my gosh, now because like my daughter likes Taylor Swift, she wants to like sit and watch football with me on Sunday. And like, that's so cool. And that could be such like a beautiful bonding experience. And I think people just need to lean into that, to like all are welcome in the NFL fandom. And
all
like
are welcome in the fandom.
Bring them in.
Yeah,
all
and
are
it's
welcome
fun.
in this
like
place,
I was learning from her and your sister, and she was just like, and then if they get a touchdown, they could either kick a field goal or go for a 2-point conversion.
Yeah.
And
good job.
Thank you. And, it was just really like fun to hear about how that works and how the different teams want their different kicks to go and all their fun stuff. And,
So fun.
and I'm like, now I'm more excited to like know about it. And it is kind of silly when you're at things and you say, like, what does this mean? And people are like, oh my gosh, like, you just have no idea. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. That's why I'm asking. That's why I'm asking, like, what that means, because I don't have any idea. And I'm not afraid to say I don't, So.
No, and you know what? When you say it like that, doesn't that kind of remind you of how some people are with the Catholic Church? Like, people just want to know. People just have questions. And then we're like, well, how could you not know what transubstantiation is? Like, how embarrassing. Like, come on, you guys.
You're like, baby, I don't. And that's the thing.
I don't. And that's okay. Because if you weren't raised in it, you don't know.
And I'm asking you like what it means. And I'm don't know. Asking. And I would love if you could just kind of like me. I sat in the car, I drove your sister to the airport last week, and we had like an hour drive, and I was just like, okay, so then once they kick it, what does that mean? And she's like, this. And I was like, okay, so then what does it mean when they go run and then they have to stop and then they get the ball, and what does it mean if they drop it? And she was like, okay, so it means this, and then you want downs, but you don't want too many downs, and you want to go this amount. And I was like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. And she's like, okay, so you see why people say that. And I was like, yes. And it was just so interesting because I sat in that car and never in a second did I feel lame or like she was going to make fun of me. And and
you were
I can
just
imagine,
allowed to be curious.
Yeah, because I was like, I really want to know how this works, and this is America's pastime, so I like want to know what happens.
You want to be plugged in, yeah.
I want to be plugged in, but it is interesting that you say that because it really does remind me of some of my friends that are like not Catholic or not practicing, and they're just kind of like, oh, we run under the assumption that everybody knows what's going on all the time. Yeah. And there is kind of it is hard to be like, I actually don't know what's happening. It's hard to be that person because you can be kind of low key feel embarrassed. But it is nice when you're on the receiving end of someone that's like, oh, okay, yeah, like totally.
Let me explain it.
Yeah, let me explain. Like, oh yeah, no
with
problem.
Like no shame.
Yeah, like totally get it. This is actually kind of can be a lot for people that have no idea.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. So next time somebody asks you about the church, let's graciously receive them and answer it without being critical or rude, even on the internet, you guys.
Whoa. And that's the lesson. Thank you, Eminem. Thank you. And
thank you, Eminem, for teaching us all again.
And speaking of Shake It Off, that brings us right into our next story of Jason Kelce spoke about his potential retirement. So there have been rumors swirling that Jason Kelce is done with football. He plays for the Philadelphia Eagles. They recently lost their game. Thank you. They lost their game to don't tell me. I actually don't know who.
I honestly didn't watch that game.
So I feel like it was like 49ers. I don't know.
The Buccaneers.
The Buccaneers. The Tampa
Buccaneers and 49ers are right there.
Okay, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Thank you.
Same word.
Thank you. And so so then there was
honestly same colors, so good job.
Thank you. So then there was a rumor that they went to the locker room and Jason was like, "Hey, you guys, I'm done. Like, we lost this game and I'm done and I'm retiring." So huge rumors.
Not like a petty way, just like
just kind of like old, I'm old done. Now and I'm kind of like done. And there's been rumors swirling for a while. So his potential retirement, and there we are. But what did he actually say, Jasmine?
Okay, so first disclaimer, we're recording this 2 weeks in advance because life circumstances. So there is a chance by the time this airs, Jason Kelce has either announced that he's officially retiring or announced that he's going to be a free agent or going to stay with the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't really know contract-wise where he's at. Haven't read much into his contract situation. But all that is to say, on this date, we currently don't know. On New Heights, he said, like, if I'm going to retire, you're going to like hear it from me. I wouldn't make that kind of announcement after that heated of a game, after a game that was like so emotional for everybody. I wouldn't make a decision based off of that. So he's saying like he didn't decide right after the game. And and that like when the time is right, he was like, there's been a lot of people who formed me in my career who have supported me. And it wouldn't be right for me to just kind of announce it casually like that. Like it's going to be kind of a more formal thing. But Jason Kelce, like after the game, was very emotional, was crying a lot, went and like hugged his family. And so people were like, it's kind of giving last game, you know, and he like looks emotional. And even on the podcast, when him and Travis were talking, he started crying, which I mean, that's a lot of investment in something you love and something you've poured your life into and that you've done with your brother to potentially be done. But people, my favorite part of all of this, and like, God bless Jason Kelce, who's just like a gem of a person. But there are Swifties obviously taking to the internet to mourn alongside Jason Kelce. And my favorite thing that people have been saying is, God, please take away Jason Kelce's pain and give it to, and then inserting anybody who's heard Taylor Swift. So my favorites have been, God, please take away Jason Kelce's pain and give it to Kanye West. And God, please take away Jason Kelce's pain and give it to Jake Gyllenhaal. And I just love this. I love what's happening. Yeah. What are
give
your
it to
thoughts,
John? Give it to John Mayer. Give it to Jake
Give it to John
Gyllenhaal.
Mayer.
Yeah,
they can take it. They're fine.
Yeah, actually give all of Jason Kelce's wins to Taylor Lautner. Give the joy of his wins to Taylor, and give the his sorrows of his losses to Joe Jonas. You know, and so but actually
disperse all the feelings evenly.
Right? They're like low-key kind of friends now, right? Like,
yeah, they are kind of friends.
Isn't she like, he's like friends with his ex-wife, but
I think they're all good now, but
can't keep up.
But the Mr. Perfectly Fine era of Joe Jonas,
that's true.
Give
it
to him retroactively.
Absolutely.
God can do all things. He works outside of time.
Please give it to him. Yes, God works outside of time to burden other people with the sorrow of losses that have hurt Taylor Swift.
That's what I've heard.
Yes, and so yeah, I love that, and I think that the transferable pain and suffering.
Yeah,
it's a good direction. That's a good pathway.
I like these prayers. I like these very targeted prayers.
Yeah,
I need to channel that energy in 2024.
Because if people are going to be spiritual and connected to a higher power, why not have it be birthed?
Why not?
From something as
why not have it work for you?
Parasocially connected as our relationship with Taylor Swift.
There it is.
You know, yeah.
Honestly, like we've said it before, like maybe in small ways it'll lead to some conversions. At least they're praying. It's a start, you know?
It's a start. It's just like that Brazil. It's just like the Brazil Christ the Redeemer statue. Like that. It is a start.
It's a start, you guys. We
are getting there. Wow.
But yeah, so prayers for Jason Kelce. So Chenele, I think we have time for one more story, and there's two on here. Which one do you want to do? You choose.
Let's talk about our girl D. Our girl D. Yeah, so
let's do it.
Okay, so our last story is Ariana DeBose, who is an Oscar winner for her role in West Side Story, and also is a main character in the Wish movie, new Disney movie that came out that I have not watched, but I heard it was good. She was recently on the Drew Barrymore show, and she was talking with Drew about how her and her mom spent a lot of time together in the car growing up, and they spent a lot of time listening to Delilah, who me growing up, I literally thought Delilah only existed in Florida because she felt so familiar. Like
she feels so personal.
Yeah, like I was like, oh yeah, she's like she's on 107.7 Florida. She just kind of like
107.
Yeah, she just kind of like exists on our radio. And so then Delilah, Drew's like, hey, Delilah's here. So Delilah comes out. And Ariana just kind of loses her mind, and she's like, I cannot believe that you're here. Like, what do you look like? Like, can you talk? And she speaks, and Ariana's like, I can't believe she
just says like
that you
home and beautiful.
Yeah. And so it's just like so crazy. And I was just thinking about like the comfort, the emotional comfort I feel from thinking about, because there also is a Delilah station on iHeartRadio because she's still doing radio. So you can like listen to Delilah just 24/7.
She's just everything good.
Like, yeah. And I just like love her. And I would love to hear from you. Like, what is one of your like most memorable Delilah moments? I know that I have quite a few, but I
feel like Delilah just loved the most sappy songs.
Oh,
and I
absolutely.
just love the idea we need to just bring this back. And I don't know if this is still how her show is, but maybe we should start doing this in our show. I love the idea that someone calls you with a problem.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my gosh, my mom and I have been fighting. I just don't know how we're going to reconcile. And then she's like, you know what? I think you need to hear this. And then plays like In the Arms of the Angel. Like she just goes so hard.
Yes.
And then everybody's crying.
Yeah.
Or she plays like Christmas shoot. Like she really goes for it.
Wow.
It'll be like around Christmas time. And she'll be like, I'm just really missing my mom. And she passed away this spring. And I'm just worried about what Christmas will be like. And then she's like, oh, baby, I totally understand. And I have a song for you. And I just feel like your mom wants you to hear it. She's like,
buy these shoes. Yeah. And you're like, oh, yeah.
And then everybody's crying. Like I was like 11 getting so in touch with my feelings.
That part.
And I think that's why a lot of us are like into mental health.
It's Delilah.
Like, curate our music playlist for our feelings. Yeah, like she started that. Like Spotify now is like, oh, sad music, happy music. Like Delilah started the like, you have a certain feeling, you should listen to this song. Not to like make yourself happy. I think this is the thing about Delilah I love. Not to like, oh, you're sad about this thing, I'm going to play like, cause I'm happy and like make you pretend you're okay. I'm gonna give you a song that's gonna make you feel like you've never felt before, so you can process your emotions. And she was big on people just being able to like sit with it. I love that. Like she just provided a space for people to feel. Don't we all need that? You know?
Don't we all need that? She was big on processing. One of my like, I just love how people would call and be like, you know, I just want to share a song for my husband. He works every day and I'm home with the kids. And like, I just miss him a lot when he's gone. And I just want to give him dedicate a song. And she's like, how is your husband? Like, you know, how does it feel to be loved like that? And people are like, you know what, Delilah, it feels really good. And she's like, you know, and you might just want to smooch your honey when he gets home and just let him know how much you love him. But I think I got something for you. And then it's like, I knew I loved you before.
Why is that so true?
Yeah, and it's like, I knew you dream. And you're like,
I know, and you're like 12 years old.
Yes. And I remember being 11 and I was like, oh yeah, like laying in my bed and I'm like, wow, like, and or people would call and they're like, I just want to give a call to my dad. He's currently like fighting in the army and I want to let him know that I love him. And then it's like some Rascal Flatts song that's like, it's 7:15, your dad's at the door. And you're like, yeah, like Delilah, you got it. Like that's exactly
so true. She never missed.
That's it. She never missed. And so thank you, Delilah, for the memories.
I know. Thank you for allowing us to learn how to process.
Thank you.
And through art. What a gift.
And through art, because she was the original curator queen, because without her, like that's why I have so many playlists on Spotify that dedicate for what mood I'm in, because Delilah taught me how, you know, and
she was the archetype.
And I'm inspired now to listen to Delilah on iHeartRadio because she really just is a mood. Her vibe is, her voice is a mood. Delilah at Christmas time is a mood. She'll play the same like 10 songs, and no matter what year it is, no matter what year it is, it's 2024, and she will still play. Like she's like, hey, someone's calling in for their family who's spending the weekend together, and I know that you guys love each other, so I got the right song for you. And it's like, Sunday morning rain is falling, and you're like,
so true.
You're like,
you're like, honestly,
that song came out in 2007 or whatever, and it's Delilah.
Perfect.
It's perfect. So thank you, Dee.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless you.
Long live. We're all just trying to be you when we grow up.
Long live. We're all just trying to be Delilah. So, Jasmine, it has been real as always.
It's been great.
Thanks for your time.
I've loved it. I'm feeling so calm. I'm ready to listen to some calm music, get in touch with my feelings.
And just kind of chill, you know, let the girls, like, expose the girls to Delilah. She plays like pretty clean stuff. So like,
she does. I think Delilah's a purist.
Yeah, she's a purist. So I'm a Delilah apologist forever. So
me too.
Yeah. So you know what, you guys? Thanks for listening.
We love it. The world is depressing. But Delilah is not.
Delilah is not. That's a new tagline. The world is depressing, but Delilah is not. Delilah's not sponsored this podcast, but maybe she should.
But if she wants to come on, I'll
please
quit. I'll
please.
quit. She can just have it.
She could just have it.
She deserves everything.
This will just become a music streaming podcast. Like,
this is it.
We don't even buy the rights. She'll just play whatever she wants.
She's allowed to, I think.
Yeah, you and I should just stay here and just sing the songs that she wants to sing because we can't buy the music rights, but we can do our own like interpretations of the songs.
I think Delilah would love that.
See you soon.
We'll get in touch with her people.
See you soon. Bye.
All right. Goodbye.